The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 56.
It is.
And what is the title?
This is Universal Consciousness.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good one.
This is a little bit of a mind-blowing episode, a little bit.
It's a bender.
It's a real bender. My mind's been all kind of pretzeled and twisted while working on this. So I'm excited to see where this goes,
I think it just is, for me, more confirmation of just how much more complex it really all is.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, before we hop into this one, which I'm pretty excited about,
Yep.
Got anything from last week?
I do.
Cool.
So last week was Readings with Samantha.
Nice.
And so I wanted to give a couple of updates on the readings that I did on feedback from a couple people.
Cool.
So the first one is from Shannon. Shannon had the husband whose best friend passed away. And best friend was playing jokes on them, if you remember correctly, and told me that he was playing jokes.
Yeah.
So this is her response.
Okay.
Loved your last podcast episode. Thank you so much for reading Chad for my husband and I. It truly made our day. We are having a good laugh now that we know he's the one messing with us. Just recently, my big citron crystal all of a sudden disappeared off my shelf. When I finally found it, it was right where I had already looked. I was so confused. Pretty sure that was him then. Then the key to our shop was missing for days, and I found it in a spot it definitely wasn't in before. Poor Chad. Now every time something goes missing, he will be blamed. So many little mysterious things keep happening to us since we listen to your podcast, but we love knowing that it's him.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Really cool.
Yeah. And she said, thank you so much again. You truly do make a difference in this world. So that was sweet.
I don't doubt it for a second.
Yeah. I appreciate the feedback. It's hard when you're reading for somebody and they can't come back at you and tell you what you're getting. You have to just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no validation.
Especially for people listening, they're like, "Ooh, I wonder if it,
Totally.
you realize,
Totally.
Oh, I got to wait till next week."
Yeah, that's
all right.
So here's another one. This is from Jolene. Jolene had the grandmother that said before she passed that she was going to have a little curly-haired daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see. She said, "Oh my goodness, this has me crying. Harper does do little things with her hands that my grandma did. I had mentioned that she would see things in Harper like her grandma, and that would be her grandma's way of showing her that she was around."
Gotcha.
Kaya did the same thing as well. That's her other daughter. And then you had asked where she was in Italy.
Okay.
And she said, we're about an hour from Venice. And then she said, and you were so right that she knew things a lot but didn't believe it. She always told everyone they were pregnant before they even knew. I was the first she predicted, though, right down to the gender and curly hair. She had Alzheimer's at the time, and they all thought she had me confused with my cousin that had just had a baby. She passed away just a month later, and no one told me until Kaya was born. Yeah, so I thought that was so cool.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you, absolutely,
Yeah,
for the validation on that. Appreciate it. So,
That was Shannon?
That was Jolene.
Jolene,
The first one was Shannon. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Jolene's my friend that lives in Italy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Yes, thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, for sure. So that's all I have from last week.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, then episode 56.
56.
Universal Consciousness.
Yes. So this episode, I talk sometimes about how we come up with these things. Mm-hmm. This week I was having a hard time, and I was in the shower, and I was like, come on, just give me an idea. And the only thing that I could think of was that we had watched this show, and it was, what was it called? Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Yeah.
Contact Has Begun.
Mm-hmm.
And we had watched that show, and it really, it took me by surprise, first of all, how it made me feel.
Yeah.
But it also showed me how intertwined all of these things are the spiritualism, the psychic abilities, the aliens. Everything is intertwined. And the people on this show started talking about how it is, and started talking about the things that we talk about on our show. And I was sitting there like, well, wait, you mean that what we're talking about interacts with aliens? I was a little bit blown away. But that was all I could think about as far as an episode goes, right? So I came to you and I said, can you help me with this? I don't really know. And you came up with this idea, the universal consciousness, which totally is what I was thinking, but I just didn't know what I was thinking.
Right.
Kind of weird how it came to us like that.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that show was very, very intriguing.
Yes. I would highly recommend this. I'll tell you that if you would have told me 10 years ago that aliens were real, for sure, I would tell you no, probably not. I don't really believe that. Whatever. Now, seeing a show like this, I totally believe it. It makes so much sense. It all makes sense. Yeah. So if you're looking for that like missing piece of this whole puzzle, this show might be it. Yeah. It was again, it was called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Contact Has Begun. You can watch it on Prime Video. And it was the guy that put this together is called Dr. Steve. His name's Dr. Stephen Greer, and he runs a group called CE5. And this group goes out into wherever, into like the wilderness.
Not necessarily remote, but it's where it's darker and the sky is much more visible at night. And
they meditate and they bring in UFOs. They're able to bring in UFOs. It blew my mind. There is so much proof that this is actually happening.
Oh, yeah.
After watching this, I'm like, no doubt at all.
And he has like high ups in, our country's intelligence that are basically going to him. He kind of talks to them and helps them, but they are basically asking him like, how the heck, we've been trying this forever, how can you do this? And he's like, here they are, the big powers that be, and it's the people that are bringing them because it's their purity, their intent, where they're coming from.
That's right.
Is completely peaceful.
That's right.
And that is why they'll come.
That's exactly right. If you have any kind of like, oh, I'm going to make money off of this, or I'm going to,
hurt them or try, or
they know. Yeah. And that comes down to the universal consciousness. Yeah. And that's why this is such a great topic for this week, I thought. So let me tell you what universal consciousness is. It's a metaphysical concept suggesting an underlying essence of all beings and all beings being combined in the universe. This concept was first presented in 480 BC by a Socratic philosopher, and I looked up. Remember, we were looking up this morning how to pronounce this guy's name. I don't know. Anaxagoras, something like that. Anyways, he's the one that kind of came up with this idea, right? And so that's a long time ago for this to be going back that
400
far.
BC.
Absolutely. So let's see. So one of the things I did is I watched a video, and there's an app, or you had talked about it. It's called Gaia. It's a page that they put together all these different kinds of videos and meditations and things for you to watch like this. And I did this. I wanted to see a little bit deeper into what this is about. First of all, it's very scientific. There's a lot of like quantum physics, and let's see, where's the words? Quantum energy field is what I'm going to talk about next. But these are things that I don't know anything about. And my mind cannot wrap around these concepts because I'm not that smart. Right. So I have no idea what I'm talking about as far as that goes.
You read Dolores Cannon's daughter, Julia Cannon's book, Quantum, what is it called?
No. Is that the one about healing yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did read that. I can't remember what it was called.
But that's called quantum healing.
Yes.
So we're hearing all these phrases with that term in there, and it has a huge meaning to our existence and our ability to do things for ourselves as a planet and a species. You know what I mean?
Yes.
there's no coincidence there.
No, there isn't. I never really realized that all of these scientific theories, even like the stuff they talk about on the Big Bang, I never really thought about it as going back to trying to kind of prove this whole theory of universal consciousness. The problem is that even though it exists, it doesn't, you can't see it. No. So it's in ways that you can't really prove it, but they still, they still try.
But he, in this show that you mentioned, Dr. Greer, actually with some other engineers and scientists, are doing some experiments where they do like a number generator.
Yes.
Where you think of a number and it's a certain number is connected to a color.
Yeah.
And that light will flash whatever number you're thinking about.
That's right.
Okay. So that has to be proof in itself right there.
Yes.
You can prove it exists.
Yes.
You just can't see it.
Right. But that's the problem is I can prove to you that psychic abilities exist. I can. Any single one of you put me in a room with you and I'll tell you about yourself. I'll tell you about your dead loved ones.
Right.
But you'll go home and a week later you'll be like, oh no, she must have looked all that up on the internet.
Right.
Because you can't see it. But I can prove it. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like aliens.
So the message that I got ultimately, and that's why I thought of the title, is that what he's talking about is essentially, in a nutshell, through meditation, he's summoning them. He's finding he's connecting to their energy wherever they're at.
Right.
Around us, our globe.
Yes.
And then he basically, as if it was like Google Earth, he shows them where he's at.
Right.
All the way down to, he's got pretty close, like a square block almost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he would just kind of visually show him where they were at, and they show up.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing. You've summoned a being from another planet that way.
Right.
What can you do for your own planet?
Right.
If you were to meditate and, as a group, put together that energy to do something for us.
Right. This is where the spirit aspect comes into it too, because if you think about it, when I go looking for a spirit, when somebody shows me a picture, I'm basically doing the same kind of thing that what he was doing, except I don't have to give where I am. They know where I am. But I have to kind of go looking for them. And it does take a form of meditation for that. So it's kind of like the step below talking to aliens or bringing in aliens. So for me watching this, I was like, well, I can talk to dead people. I can bring in aliens.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Well, it absolutely is.
I kind of, like an analogy, would view it as, if you could see it, kind of like this marine layer that sort of covers the earth.
Yeah.
And it's all around us.
Yes.
You just can't see it.
That's exactly right. And that's where
but like real fast, like you as your talent, is that it's like a pool that you can reach into of knowledge, of consciousness, if you allow yourself to.
Yes.
So that's how you're being able to be fed this information. It's not just floating out in the sky, you know, in the air. It's being shared by higher energies.
You have no idea how excited I am about this topic. Like, I get excited about things, but discovering this and like really getting into it has totally made me see things so much clearer. Because I used to sit a lot and think about how, we're all different beings and we all come from different places. But at the end of the day, that's not really the case, because we are all connected. And I've been saying that for a while, that we are all one.
Yeah, we all come from the same place.
We do.
We started from the same place.
We did. And we will be going back to the same place. And that even means aliens. That means plants. That means everything. These are all things that are alive and connected to the universe.
Yes.
I talked a little bit ago about the quantum energy field. And this is what really struck my interest, because what this is an energy field that's invisible. Okay. I see energy a lot. This is something that's just started in the last year or so, where I can see little pieces of energy floating. It's very strange. And I had asked you too, if you see this. So that is a part of this energy field that they're talking about. And everything is connected to that energy field. Everything. So if everything is connected to that energy field, it's like, I don't know, in my mind, I probably put it as like an extension cord, or, you know, we're all kind of plugged into the same thing.
Right.
So we're all connected.
Well, it's the same thing we talked about in the dreams episode, that you are connected. You can't see it.
Right.
But they call it a silver cord.
Yes.
And each one of us, our soul has a silver cord that connects directly to whatever you want to call it, God, Allah, whatever, the source, the energy.
Right.
And so when you dream, you're allowed to go to the other side. Mm-hmm. And the only way that you would never return from your dream is if something happened and that cord was severed.
Right.
There's many ways that could happen. Not many, but there are ways.
It doesn't happen often.
But it doesn't happen often. Mainly, it would be your own choice.
Right.
That you didn't want to live the life anymore.
Right, yeah.
So anyways, but that is what you're talking about. That is the connection.
Absolutely.
So you're never, when you die, that's when you die, when that's severed.
Right.
But people can sort of mentally disconnect from the fact that they're connected or not know they're connected.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
But every single one of us is.
Right.
Every living thing.
Right. But most of us don't realize that. And that's, I think, what's tripping me out the most now is that I look at this and I go, it's obvious. It really is. If you really look at it, there's so many signs that we see in front of us that this is what's going on. But because we can't actually see it with our eyes, it's very hard for us to believe.
Yeah.
But it is actually what's going on.
Yeah.
For sure. One of the things that came along with this that I was talking about, the energy field, is it said scientists have recorded a background energy field. It looks just like energy, but it's believed to be an intelligent and omnipresent source. So omnipresent is everywhere.
But that's what I mean. It's like this ball of just marine layer fog I picture, but you just can't see it.
Exactly.
It's just everywhere.
I think as humans, we think that we're like the smart ones because we do so many different things. But one of the things that this video that I watched on Gaia reminded me is that nature does everything and doesn't need to be told what to do.
No.
This says, within nature, it's obvious that there is natural intelligence. Yep. We think it is a coincidence that all living creatures, even plants and trees, know how to do their thing. Mm-hmm. They know how to self-organize and how to self-connect. We are really the only creatures that don't get that.
Nope. It's really, yet we consider ourselves to be the most intelligent.
Right.
Of everything, at least on this planet.
Right.
And I think we might even, out of ego, sometimes think we're more intelligent than others, but that's
right
off this planet. And I totally disagree with that. I think we're very... There's so many worlds and places with life on it that there's life that's way dumber than us, that's more like amoebas and things like that. And then there's life that's way more intelligent than us.
Right. We've talked before about how everything has its purpose in the universe. Like, we need the bees. The bees have to stay. Even mosquitoes.
The murder hornets could go, though.
Exactly. Those you can take back. If 2020 couldn't get any worse, it's like, here comes Jumanji, stage 5, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Anyways, mosquitoes even have a purpose because other animals feed off of their larvae. So everything has a purpose and everything needs to work as it does to keep this earth going. Mm-hmm. Okay. But we people are put here for a different reason.
Right.
We're put here to complete our soul's mission, to learn lessons, to do good, whatever you want to say your purpose here is for. Mm-hmm. We're not necessarily here for the same reason that flowers and plants and all those other things are.
No.
But those other things are a huge part of our system, our universe, our connection.
They're as much alive as we are.
We're just as much connected to them as everything.
The molecules that make the water and the air are as much alive as we are.
Why do you think you feel those connections sometimes, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it literally blows through you.
It does.
The water soaks into you. You absorb it. We're 98%, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Water or something. But so, it has to be that. There is no other way.
even think about like grounding exercises, okay? For me, going to the beach and sticking my feet in the ocean and grounding myself in the ocean like that is an amazing experience. You can feel that connection to the earth at that point. But I think up until this point, you know, I talk about the universe and that, but I felt connected to the earth, but not as connected to the universe as I do now. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what else I have for you on this subject. So one of the biggest problems, if you look at the situation, is that in order for us to really tap into universal consciousness, we all kind of have to do it. Like, we can tap into it a little bit, but that's like let's say within our home, okay? If we're all on the same level in our home, then we can be connected to that universal consciousness.
Yeah, I think it's the word universal in the phrase actually takes on two connotations for me, and that is you can have the ability, and I think what Dr. Greer is trying to prove here is that the power of thought and the energy that you have can travel as far as you need it to travel.
That's exactly right. Exactly. It's the telepathic communication is really what he's doing, like with the aliens, he's using that. And that's what I use to talk to animals. And so people will ask me a lot of times, do you need the animal in your presence? No, I don't, because it's telepathic.
Right.
And I've always kind of looked at that as something, I guess, in the planet. I never looked at it as if you can talk to animals telepathically that don't have to be in a certain range, well, why can't you talk to aliens? What difference is it between whether it's here on Earth or not?
Right.
There's
definitely a language within nature and the world that, and we're the only thing disrupting that.
That's right.
But it speaks its own language. It has its own harmony. You know, we as people see monkeys interacting with each other or lions and, you know, oh, isn't that cute? No, but there's intelligence going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, these aren't stupid animals that are here for us to hunt or laugh and mock or even take lightly.
That's right.
They're intelligent.
Right.
Very intelligent. So I just think that with that going on, we're the only ones that are coming in and disrupting the whole situation. I try to imagine what Earth would look like if there wasn't any humans on it.
Yeah.
How beautiful. How beautiful.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Would it look?
Absolutely. I've been trying to picture myself what Earth would be like if we all could tap into this universal consciousness.
That was my next point.
Yeah.
Is what can we do for Mother Earth together in this double meaning we can send messages as far as we want, but a universal, meaning a community consciousness.
Yes.
To heal not only our planet and the damage that we've done, but to heal us as a species.
Yes.
To change the direction that the human species is going, because right now, it's not good.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's not good.
It's not. And we can change it. That's the thing, is that people think it's too difficult to change it. But it might not, like, if everybody just started kind of doing their part and becoming more, you know, connected to this kind of thing, it might not happen right away, but our children's children and, you know, it could change. It really could change. But how do we change that? And again, it starts with us, because if we change and we show that to people, then those people want to change too.
Right.
And like I said, it's probably not all going to happen at once. You're not going to reach. There's some people you are just not going to reach. Right. But if we can continue to teach our next generations this kind of thing, then we could have this tap into this universal consciousness. Mm-hmm. We really could. I talk about sometimes that I would love to form a commune and have just like-minded people on that commune. Right. And because I feel like when you're around like-minded people, you can do so much more good because you can tap into that universal consciousness even more.
Yeah, I kind of look at what could it do. I think that other life forms, did they say this in the show, or am I thinking of something else? But basically where that it's silly. They did talk about this, about it's silly that our planet doesn't have free energy, free water, that they basically have told us there is enough resources here for all of you.
Yeah.
To live and survive without this currency thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Which it defines everything that happens, and it makes us like a rocky ocean.
Right. Exactly.
Where it's so unnecessary. How people might be listening, well, how the hell would you do that? Well, I'm not an engineer,
Yeah.
I don't know how to restructure a government or whatever. I think that the government plays a lot of role in this that isn't helpful.
Right.
No,
not at all, because that's money, money, money.
Right.
And the thing about the consciousness, tapping into this universal consciousness, is you have to release yourself of these earthly things. You have to, we all have needs. We have to keep the power on. We have to have clothes.
Yeah.
We can have nice things and still do it in a way that we're giving back to the universe. And that's the difference. If you have greed and you're doing everything that you do for yourself and not for other people, you can't tap into this because this is 100% unconditional love. Right. That was some of the things that I saw in that video as well. When it talks about how we can tap into this, it says unconditional love is the key to understanding and accepting. Yep. It really is. And it's hard to do. Mm-hmm. It is. It's something that I've really been working on a lot. Like, I think one of the things you have to realize with this, with like connecting to other people on a different level, is realizing that we are all different and we don't all feel the same way and think the same way, and that's okay. Mm. We don't have to change the way the other person is. That's not what we're here for. But understanding why they are the way that they are and they do the things that they do makes you a more tolerant person, so that when they do things, it kind of changes the way you respond. Mm-hmm. And when you respond with that, you're responding in an unconditional love type of way. Right. And that's what opens you up to the universe. Yeah. But man, is that hard. It is hard. Yeah. We're not taught from a young age to do that. We should get back to that. Yeah. But it's not always easy. It takes a lot of, think before you react or respond. Think. Yes. Try to take yourself out of you. Right. For a second, and put yourself into that person for a second and see what it might feel like. Right. You may not know for sure, but you could have an idea. I think that is a great point. I think we were obviously all put here for a reason, but it wasn't just what are we going to do with this life? It was also, what are you going to do with like this free home that I put you on for your what we consider a nice big lifespan. Right. What are you going to do? How are you going to treat this place? How are you going to treat its occupants? Right. There's that lesson within there. When I hear these things, like the gentleman that you shared earlier from 400 BC, shows you this kind of mentality and knowledge run rampant in our society, in our world, for a very long time. Oh, yeah. And it was wiped out because it was being abused. Right. I fully believe that one day we're a part of this movement. Oh, we are. Just like Dr. Greer and Dolores and so many other people that I couldn't even think of right now and don't even know. Yeah. But it's a part of this movement to awaken the world, mm-hmm. to know that we have the power to change it. Right. There's other civilizations that are already proving it. Yes. They're trying to tell us that. We have the power to heal ourselves, to heal our world, and to heal the tension. Right. Oh, yeah. And that starts with the unconditional love. Yes. But it's there. It's there for the taking, and it's meaning we don't need telephones. We can communicate with whomever, whenever we need. Yes. We don't need outside resources. I mean, when I talk about this kind of information that had been in societies on the world for thousands of years prior to now, these were spread out societies that didn't really know each other or connect to each other, yet they all knew. Right. Okay? I don't think for a second the pyramids were built
by thousands of guys being whipped and beaten to pull up huge stones. They can't prove it. There's no way. There was knowledge that we don't use now.
Right.
And there's so many landmarks and places you can go in the world that show that.
Yes. I agree with you, for sure.
And if we're so smart, how come we can't figure it out completely?
Yeah.
You know, these things. I grew up going to museums and learning about mummies in Egypt and thinking, oh, you know, these pyramids were built for pharaohs, their tombs. No, there was never one of them put in there.
No.
That's not what they were used for.
All.
They were power generators.
Yeah. But I don't know why our minds go there. Yeah. It's like, oh, they must have put their dead in there. Oh, why?
No.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know if it's a power generator, but it had to do with energy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I agree. One of the examples that I have here for you, like as far as how you can kind of change your thought process to maybe open up this consciousness a little bit for you. Let's just look at what's been going on here as far as with the coronavirus. We have people that are just going with it and knowing that I need to do what I need to do for everybody around me. And then you have people that are protesting for their own reasons. I want to do this. I want to do that. My money, my this, my that. They can say that it's about other people returning to work, but that's really not it. This is a very selfish thing that they're doing. Mm-hmm. When you're more enlightened and you're more connected, you don't think like that.
No.
You can't think about yourself like that. There's all these other people you have to think about. And if it means that you have to lose your job or whatever, that's universal consciousness. That's doing something for the greater good of humanity and not being selfish. Yeah. And it's really hard to do because, like, in the video, they even said, we're taught that it's I win, you lose. Mm-hmm. We're from a very small age. That's what we're taught in games and sports. It's not, we're working together. It's I win, you lose.
Right.
It's not healthy for us. Being right all the time. And we're taught that we need to be right. And we're taught that we need to be individuals, which we do. We need to be our own person. Mm-hmm. But we also need to remember that we're connected to every single person that we walk by every day. There is a connection.
Sure.
6 feet apart or not, there's still a connection.
The same would go for something that's living on another planet.
Yep.
You're connected to it.
Yep.
Somehow, some way. It's like a thread, a quilt of threads, that it's all intertwined.
It is. And we need to start thinking more like that.
Yeah,
that
and
we're all intertwined.
I mean, I'm a huge believer in other life, so I definitely know that they're watching us. They're actually helping us.
Oh, yeah.
They aren't going to allow mass destruction like we're taught to fear. Okay?
That's a great point.
They have a lot of control over our technology, so they can shut things down real easy.
Yeah. Conscious.
Yeah. It's not even like a laser or anything they use.
Yeah,
it's their mind. So
Period.
They want to see us figure this out first and stop being a very aggressive species so they can approach us and share all this wonderful universal knowledge and technology that we've gotten little bits of pieces from crash sites, things like that. But if we could learn to speak to them directly, which would be very easy.
Yeah.
Because they just do it all in the mind.
Yep.
We would learn and excel so much. We're not going to get off this planet onto another planet and start colonizing anywhere else until we learn from them.
That's right.
What it is. And so that comes down to even interstellar space travel.
Right.
That this isn't about rockets. It's not about how big your canisters of fuel can be to get you as far as you're going to go. Has nothing to do with that.
No.
They're able to go from dimension to dimension into our world to another world in a matter of sequence.
It's impressive when you watch that.
It's all
that
conscious.
Mm-hmm.
It's through their universal consciousnwe're
taught from a very young age that aliens are an enemy. All of these movies, they're all about, how aliens are going to hurt us. And I had not seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I've made you sit through it.
Oh, you didn't make me sit through anything. I thought, first of all, this was a great time for me to watch it.
Yeah.
But my main concern on it was, what kind of an alien movie is this going to be?
Right.
Is this going to be aliens are coming to Earth and terrorizing? And I was pleasantly surprised.
No, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. And that's how we should be portraying aliens, because that's how they could be for us. We could help them. They could help us.
Right. We look at them as terrifying and ugly because they don't look like us.
Right.
Well, not totally like us, but there's some similarity, actually. Mm-hmm. So I find that rather interesting.
Absolutely.
But if we could not look at them as a threat or some scary stranger, but almost like an old familiar friend or family that's come to help you.
And that's where the what were we talking about? The purity, the pure intentions that come in with that group, that CE5, that's their intentions. That's why they will come and connect with them.
Right. Because
they know that it is pure and it's for good reasons.
Yeah.
So if you don't see UFOs, it's probably, I've never seen one.
Right.
Because, there's a lot of reasons that they're just not. Yeah, you have. Yep. And I'm now determined to see one.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. We'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so deep. And because I think about outside this world and how vast and amazing and what amazing places there must be.
Yeah.
And I think, God, if we could just get over ourselves.
Yes.
We would be able to, we're like the only ones that they kind of avoid because we are hotheads.
Right.
We're aggressive.
That's exactly right. There's so many flaws in this earth, but you know what? I feel like that's why we're here, because these aliens that are on other planets in other galaxies, they are also souls just like us.
Yes.
But we came here for a reason, and we are here, some of us for different reasons.
Right.
And for me, I'm here, this is what I'm here for. And I feel like you are too, to kind of enlighten people and to help them. My entire life, I've been called lucky. I was telling you this the other day. Everybody says to me, "Oh, you're so lucky. Things happen to you. I do. I'm pretty good at slot machines, and you can't be good at slot machines." It's not luck. It's belief. It's that connection. I've always had that because I've always been the type of person that's giving to others and looks at things in a different way and is open-minded. And those are the types of things that help you to become more connected to the universe because you're not seeing things the same way. You know what I mean? But people don't take it that way. It's a very selfish society that we live in. But, like when I talk to people and I do readings for them, it may be weird for you guys to hear this, but if there's something that they want in their life, I will help manifest that for them. And I will tell them anything is possible because it is. Yeah. And that's how you can help others without even having to give money to something. Right. Really, just your pure intentions of, I want to see good come for this person will help good come for that person. Right. That's how it works. And
again, we're getting back to that energy of what you're putting out there. So think about, it's like metaphorically, in a biblical sense for me, metaphorically, like when they talk about, the end times and the fight against good and evil. Right. That's, to me, what they're referring to. Yes. It's that energy we're all putting out. There's some good and there's some bad, and it's just combating, and it's messing with that what you call quantum energy field. Yes. It's making it a little wonky. Right. Whoa, hey. Yeah. That's kind of how I perceive it. Yeah, you're right. And so I think that I honestly believe there'll be a day when this is all gone. Right. But we won't know about wars. There won't be guns because it won't be necessary. Right. The other life that's out there that's trying to help us is trying to help us. They're not trying to come here and commandeer our planet, take over and make us slaves. No, they want to teach us how to survive even longer. Right. They can't help us, though, if we're not willing to help ourselves. No. And that's the big problem, is that
a lot of people think that they know what's right and they know what's wrong and it's this and it's that. And I even with all of what I've learned, I still don't know it all. I still don't say I'm 100% right because there are things that I could be wrong on. But you know what? Have an open mind about it because it really can change you in so many different ways. People say to me all the time that they bad things happen to them. Okay. Like just when they feel like they're getting back up again, something will knock them down. And you know what? I know that, you know that.
Everybody knows that.
But you know what? That's life. And it's a very hard thing to accept. But no matter how good you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter where you live or what you do, bad's going to happen. It's a part of our story. And as soon as we start to realize that these things do happen as a part of our story to make it unfold the way it's supposed to, you can look at things differently. This right now with the coronavirus, if this would have happened 20 years ago, I would be locked in my house. I would have no ambition to do anything. I would think the world was coming to an end. It would you'd find me under the table. Right now, honestly, the virus itself and what's actually going on out there is the least of my concerns. I'm taking this time to try and change things and make things happen and not concerning myself so much with that. Why? Because I know that wherever it's supposed to go, it will, and I have no control over it. I'm still going, when I go out, I take care of myself, protect myself and my family. But it can't be our whole lives, you know?
No, we can't be ruled by the fear
No.
of everything. And we are injected with continuous fear about so many different things. It's totally unnecessary. I mean, should we be knowledgeable? And, you know, sure, of course. The better, you know, precautions we can take in any situation, the best for everybody. But you know, you can't tell everybody stay inside. You can't go to work and then tell everybody where's my rent money. You know, there's such a bigger picture to all that, and that's for another time and another topic. But I don't like it, and it is what it is for now. But going back to what I said is that one day that's not going to exist here.
Exactly.
And we're in the process of starting. This world is starting to change. It's already happening.
There's way more people that are starting to become enlightened and to feel this way.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it is hard, though. Like, this morning, the first thing that I saw was fear-based, like what you were talking about. It was yesterday or the day before, one of our government officials here in Ventura County phrased something in a way that made it sound like they were going to be taking sick people out of their homes and putting them into hotels so the rest of their family doesn't catch this virus. Okay, so what happens? It gets blown into this huge thing where now this guy is basically being called Hitler, putting people in concentration camps. That's not even close to what's happening. So this poor man has been verbally abused. There's things floating all over the internet about this. And really what he was saying is that they're utilizing a program where, like, let's say that your elderly mother lives with you and that if she were to catch corona, she could die. Or so you catch it. They will take you out of your home and put you in a hotel. Paid, taken care of. They want to take care of you. They're not forcing you. But people with their fear hear this and they spin it out of control. They don't use logic. They don't use common sense. They use fear and panic. And in order to really get past that and connect and feel this way, you have to let go of the fear and understand that everything that's happening right now is happening for a reason. It really is. And these stupid things, these rumors that start before you latch onto them, look it up. Read a little bit about them. Don't panic yourself, because that's what happens is people panic themselves. And
people
then,
are so quick to smear one another.
Why is that? I just don't understand.
Well, that's the part of the universal consciousness that we have to get to. Well, essentially, what has to happen, and this is going to take, not overnight by any means, but when I say it's already started, it has.
Yes.
The seeds have planted, and especially with the younger generation that are more exposed to this and have a different mindset than the elder generations, are going to really help thrust this forward, I believe. But it's the ones now that are kind of pushing it and saying it's time.
Yep.
And that is going to unlock that door, and you'll start seeing it globally.
Yeah.
That people are going to realize essentially kind of what's happening in the C5 things, where they're sitting and meditating, and they do about a half an hour meditation as a group. But it's very important that it's a group, as many as possible, because the amount of energy you can create as a group is much greater than the amount of energy you can create individually.
Right.
So they do this, short 30-minute meditation, and do what they do. I haven't really got too involved exactly in all the steps, but he's explained it shortly, which I said, and then these things start happening. So it's
right.
I still keep going back to, God, it's amazing that these things are coming to us, but I'm going back to you got to be kidding me. This guy did this with his mind.
Right.
Like, and I know you do it too, but it's like
this
a whole
is different
level.
It's
weird, It's
no,
like,
it is.
Like, he just told these guys to come on over, and they do like little shows and dance around. There was one where it was on the ocean. I think it was maybe Virginia or North Carolina or South Carolina somewhere. But it was about dusk, and the sun had already gone down. So, but these two things glow from the horizon of the ocean that look like two suns.
Yeah.
And they were huge.
Huge. Yeah.
Like
and
one lit up and then the other one lit up.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the? You can't deny that.
No, you can't. They're not Photoshopped. They're not anything like that. You can't deny it.
You see a guy turn around in his chair like, am I really seeing this?
Yeah.
Like, looked at the camera like, no way.
Yeah. Because, like, there's a lot of people that might think, you go on a ghost tour or whatever, and they might try and, like, intensify this for you, which they do. In this kind of situation, there is no way for these people to make UFOs appear. This is 100% real.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have to watch this. Yeah. It is amazing.
And you start to think about, too, like, so then when they're doing their formations or certain lights or whatever, you're starting to think, well, maybe they're actually trying to communicate something greater than just showing off what they can do. If
we could let them help us, they would.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of what they're trying to tell us. There was a guy in that show that his hearing was gone, and he had mentioned something. I can't remember the exact story, but something about his hearing, and he asked like one of the aliens to help heal him, and then he woke up the next morning and he could hear.
Yes.
And this was totally,
and that's a great point about that story, because not only were they coming, like hovering above them, in the ships, but they were actually there, coming in and out. The way he describes it is like when you see a glitch in a video and you're coming in and out of 3D.
Yeah.
So,
right.
And next thing you know, they have photographs of this thing standing behind this man that was deaf. Right. And then after that experience, the next morning he woke up, he forgot to put on his hearing aids, and he went out to breakfast with everybody, and he could hear everything. He could hear conversations at the other table.
Right.
So and they had a bunch of different pictures, experiences, and things. So that in itself too, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? So you, in your mind, you mean to tell me you could step right through into another dimension if you really want.
Yeah. You can
and
do
you
anything.
believe you can.
Yep.
So it's still about
your consciousness.
Your universal consciousness, but your belief and your faith of what's possible.
Right. We can heal ourselves. Wait, not only can we heal ourselves, we can heal others. Rain dances, that's the thing. You're not going to have a cloud that's going to form above you in the sky if it starts raining. But I truly believe that if you get people together, that energy will bring it in.
For sure.
Do you know? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you know what the cure for coronavirus is?
What?
Us to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
It's the universal consciousness. It's believing that we can heal, that we can heal ourselves, that we can heal others. Right. I was told at the very beginning of my spiritual journey that I'm a healer, and I kind of laughed it off because I was like, what does that mean? But I see it. I see it starting, and it becoming more something that I can use more and more. Does it mean that I can cure you of cancer if you have cancer? No, probably not. Right. But you can. With your mind and with the things that you say and do and put into your body, there's a very good possibility that you could cure yourself.
I think that that's so true. I think that that's exactly what Christ did when he chose to come to this world in that life. Mm-hmm. He knew what he was facing in the end.
Yeah.
He was that connected. He knew his demise.
Yeah.
And he still chose to go around to do all these things and be mocked and mimicked.
Yep.
And eventually killed for it, to show us that we can all do this. And he says that we can all do this.
Yep.
Not just me. I'm not special.
Right.
Okay. I'm an extension of God or the energy, just like you are. You're a soul.
You know, I'll tell you that I look up to Jesus more now than I did like when I was into Christianity, because I see that he was a lot like me. I mean, I'm not Jesus on that level. Don't think that's what I'm saying.
No.
But he had the same abilities, just much, much more intensified than I had. He was trying to teach us that those abilities were real and how to use those types of things.
Right.
And he did. He gave his life so that he could show and teach and heal and do those things, knowing that the end result would be death.
Yes.
And you know what? As weird as it may sound, if I knew that I could heal people and I could help people the way that Jesus did, I would be willing to die the same way, because this isn't about you. No. This is about everybody. It's about all of us. Right. And I know that when I leave this earth, I'll be coming back again. So he knew that too. He knew that he was going home. So for him, death was not a big deal.
He didn't come here, for me, don't believe it for a second, that he came here for the Christian church to be established. No, wrong. Mm-mm. That's not why he came here.
No.
That's not what he was saying. That's not at all.
No.
He didn't say build a church and worship me and do all that. He never said that.
No.
He was trying to show and lead by example. And some really saw it and some totally missed the mark.
Yep.
And completely missed it. I understand him in that whole situation way more than I did when I sought it out.
Right.
You know, in a church for myself. But
yeah,
I totally respect him and think, wow, I wish that but in your defense or my defense, you know, he started at like 3 years old.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm not walking on
learning
water.
with scholars and all these things. But no, they talk about, you know, in the CE5, they're talking about levitation and all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what Christ was doing. He didn't walk on water, he levitated.
I believe it. And what you said, like, about him starting this at such a young age, that's one of the things that I'm noticing with my abilities now. I've mentioned this to you many times, that they haven't all come to me at once. I've been given a little bit at a time. If I would have started as a kid and have worked this hard, what would I possibly be able to do by the time that I pass away? I don't know.
Right.
But I think that if you do put that much kind of effort into it and you do work it that much, there's things that can be done by people that we know nothing about.
We don't put enough emphasis on these people, whether it's Christ or Buddha or all these people that have shared, even Einstein.
Yeah.
You know, just amazing minds that have shared their insight. We don't put these high enough outside of religious connotations, you know, like we don't put it high enough in the importance of the information that's really being given to us, that universal consciousness that's being given to us. And we're either, you know, want to ignore it or just can't hear it. But there's people now that are here that are going to start teaching other people. And it's going to grow.
Yeah.
It's going to grow. It's going to take a long time, probably not my lifetime, but that's okay.
Yep.
I'll get to sit up there and watch, you know?
And that says a lot, too. Like, what you do while you're here with this time, if you're, like, selfishly taking it of, like, you know, I'm not going to name any names, but we may have somebody in the government that does this, that is just so me. And when I leave this world, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to be here anymore. So what happens to the people left behind doesn't matter. Only my family. That's what matters. No. Everybody matters. All living things matter. That's where you keep saying that.
I keep hearing the Beatles, I, me, my, which is one of the few songs that George Harrison sings. But if you've never heard it, listen to it because it's so resounding of what you were just talking about. This sort of attitude that or persona that we're kind of taking on.
We think we're entitled or something.
Yeah, it's no.
What? Yeah, no. It's, yeah.
If you want to lead by example, then we have to lead by example.
Right.
But you can't tell someone to put their gun down as you're holding your gun at them.
No, that's exactly right. There's just way too much hypocrisy going on, and it really is. If we all just took some time to stop thinking so much about ourselves and start thinking about everybody else and start giving a little bit more, these things could change slowly but surely. They could. It's not going to happen overnight. We're not all just going to become enlightened. Right. That's one of the things, like, they talk about, the apocalypse or the end of the world or whatever. And I don't believe that we're in, like, an end of the world time, but I do believe we are in the midst of a major change. I really do believe that.
I don't think there's an end of the world.
No, I don't think so either.
Quite honestly. So when I kind of made that biblical reference, is this that time? I couldn't tell you that. I don't know.
Right. But
I don't think it's going to be devils and angels coming down and fighting it out, and giant scorpions and things like that. No.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what, like, the Bible or the way that it's been translated makes it sound like there's a sequence of events, of course, all these things that are supposed to happen. But there's this giant, like, war of good and evil at the end. Well, I'll tell you what, this war of good and evil has been going on for a long time, and it's still going, and it's still going to go on.
It will.
And we're still going to continue to fight it. But eventually, good will prevail. They make it sound like there will just be this snap day that Jesus will return and everything will be right with the world, and that's not the way it's going to be. Right. Could it be that way? Yeah, because we could all decide we're going to change it once, but we're not going to.
Right.
So.
But again, that fight you're talking about, which I totally agree with you, it has been going on, and it's going to continue. We don't know how long, but it will, and the good will prevail. Again, it's not angels and demons.
No,
that's
it's
not
humans.
what I'm talking. It's humans. The good and the evil is in us.
Yep.
It's in our consciousness. We were given the free will to do such.
Yep.
But that is the lesson. We've taken this word called life to explain our lessons and our experiences from day one till day end. But we use a word, like many words, to explain that experience.
Yep.
But within those 2 points are a lot of lessons.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of good times and a lot of bad times.
Yep.
But that's life.
That is life.
Okay?
What else is it going to be? What are we supposed to do with it? People that don't believe that, what do you think? You just get up, go to work, live your life, and die, and that's the end? No. That makes no sense.
Doesn't.
No.
Because there's not, in some of these other worlds, it's not like they're going and punching a clock and making sure they're paying their taxes and all this. No. They exist. They help each other. There's enough resources for everybody to exist.
Right.
Do they do a job? Yes.
Everybody does,
but they're doing a job for the greater good of their society, of their world.
Yes.
And just by doing that alone, you're guaranteed a place in that world.
Yep. You're right.
So we all have to get out there, pull up our big girl and boy pants.
Yeah.
And, get involved and do something.
Yeah. It's not easy, but,
your life.
Absolutely. It's not easy. Like, especially with this, I know that there's a lot of people that are really depressed. I've been one of them that's been on, like, an emotional roller coaster, but it really, this is it. This is this life right now. This is what we have with it. And we have to do good. We have to do what we want with our dreams. And if we don't do those things, we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to achieve what we set out to achieve or what we're here for. That's why we're here. We're not here to sit on our butts.
Yeah.
As much as it might be nice to lay in bed and watch TV, you can't do that 7 days a week all the time because you got to work to get somewhere in your life, whether it's in a business or in something creative or emotional or whatever it is. We have to put the effort in to create this.
And this is, as tough of a time as it is, I think it's the world's way of pushing us into that.
It is.
Like, okay, guys, it's time for a change.
Yep.
So, a lot of people have lost jobs, and that's a scary thing. I've been there.
Yeah. I have too.
You know what? There's always something else.
Yes.
Another reason, another something else that you're supposed to find.
Yes. This is the opportunity to find it.
Yes. Take the time. Tap into that. Ask the universe, for exactly what it is that you want for you and what you want for this world. If all of us did that every night, literally laid down and prayed.
Oh, yeah.
And asked for this world to be healed or for the things to come that would help us, it would.
It would. It would. We just have to stop being so selfish.
And it's not going to take every single person.
No.
Just so I can be clear about that. If there's enough energy, the rest don't even have to really agree. It's just going to shift.
That's so true, because we've talked about this where negativity can suck the positivity out of people. So that's why we have more negative people, because they suck the positivity out. But if we stopped letting them suck the positivity out, eventually we would get to a point where we just didn't care about who was left of the negative anymore. And they would look at us and be like, oh, maybe I should join them. Or they could just keep being negative. But whatever the case is, if there were enough of us, absolutely, it doesn't have to be everybody.
Yeah, that became popular somewhere in society. Seems like in a greater scale of just like, oh, be an asshole and negative. Excuse my French. But I think that one day it will go back. It'll be different.
I do too.
It will be uncool to be uncool.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. But again, we all have to wish that and want that. And it's coming. Yep. And I can see why I picked to come back here at this time.
Yeah, me too.
Because as scary as it is at times, it's like a gnarly roller coaster.
It is.
If I would have picked a different time in history, I might have thought that was a crazy time to be there. But this by far is one of the craziest times.
It is. There's so many lessons that can be learned in this. Like, I don't think that I'm here for myself. Like, I don't think my soul decided to come back here at this time. Yes, for the experiences, but more to be that light worker and to be able to help as many people as I can. And, whatever you have to go through to get to that for me is why I'm here. Yeah. And I've been through a lot in my life, and it's all been to help other people, and that's fine. Yeah. That's, you have to accept what's come to you and know that if you do good and you think positively, good will come to you.
It will.
Absolutely.
For sure. Cool.
Yay.
Good job. I feel like we could just go for
right?
hour, but...
For a while, I was like, I don't know if we'll have enough, but then this is a topic that I'm really passionate about, for sure.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I got tears the whole time. If I'm snotty, that's why. Because I'm like, I might forgot the tissues, because who thought a conversation about consciousness was going to, make me cry. But everything makes me cry.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're connected.
Exactly. I know when I cry that it's true. Like, I can't sit here and talk about aliens and not cry, so I know that it's true.
Right. No, I felt that. I was getting teary because I was like, I'm sticking up for things I don't even know.
Isn't it weird?
But I know that they're going to help, and I know that they've been around way longer than we ever think. So,
yeah, one of the things about like the abilities and being connected is you know things, but you have no idea how you know them, because there's no way you could. Yeah. But you just do. Yeah. And it's amazing. It's that connection that I wish everybody could feel it, because if you could feel it, it would change your perception. Mm-hmm. And can feel it. You just have to work at it. Yeah.
And if you haven't seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, check it out.
And Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
That too.
Yeah. Both. They're both on Prime Video. Probably YouTube and stuff too, but I didn't see them on Netflix, but yeah.
Cool.
Yay.
Well, before we say goodbye, want to share your page?
Let's do it. So you can find everything you need to know about me on my website at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com.
Awesome.
Yay. And you, sir?
DeanJonesArtCollection.com. And Facebook and Instagram is at DJonesArtCollection. I just posted Eddie Van Halen.
Yes, that was a good
picture
one.
I did, so that was cool.
So many different things hidden in that. It's fun to just sit there and like pick them out.
I kind of do that. Like, it's like Where's Waldo, but it's not Waldo. It's just a bunch of different things that pertain to something about that artist. You probably, for a lot of people, would need to be more of a fan.
Yes.
For some of them to really know what they are, but
for the fans, it's so cool because you connect to that on a different level. Like if,
they're recognizable as a person, but the little clues are more like, what does that mean?
Right. Unless you're a fan, you might not.
So anyways, that's for the art and the music, gypsybrown.com and at Gypsy Brown Music for Instagram and Gypsy Brown at Gypsy Brown Band for Facebook. And that's it.
Yay.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening in.
Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed it. Yep. I did.
I did too. Go out and have a great week and be selfless. Do some good deeds. Help people. Think positive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And have a great week.
Yes.
And until next week.
Peace and love.